It's there's obviously been a few times that we've looked back and gone like, wow, we get to wake up every morning, get to go drive a nice car to work, get to go and do what we love, and come back to a house that's really nice. So it's like when you stop and think about it, it's like, wow, we're eating in Australia, we're having 2-minute noodles basically for dinner, like we're struggling, we're working for each kind of meal. And where now it's just like it's totally opposite almost. Like we're living a happy life. My brother's got a house. I just bought my house. Like it's definitely a cool feeling. We definitely we appreciate it a lot. But we've worked hard for it, and I think we've definitely earned it.
Welcome back to the MotoGP podcast, Last in the Breaks, with myself, Matt Dunn and Fran Wild. Had a couple of issues
with the most amazing intro clap I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's very, very sick. It's a special episode today. We got not just one, but 2 guests. We have the Lawrence brothers, motocross, supercross, Australian superstars, Jett and Hunter. Bit of a surprise one, this. What is, though, coming up on today's show?
I enjoy the way you say bit of a surprise, like we were just sat here and they just wandered in.
Well, it was organised like in the last literally couple of days, wasn't it? So.
But it was really interesting chat, bit of a different one, quite a nice informal random journey. If you listen in headphones, sorry, we do laugh every now and then.
A lot.
Just, But yeah, good entertaining little chat. Nothing for the hardcore Supercross motocross fans to learn about them, I don't think, if you don't know already.
Yeah.
Not necessarily either just getting their pure opinions on MotoGP, just a few things that we have in common between these paddocks, what they love about our sport, and also what this paddock loves about theirs, because there is a lot of love for Supercross motocross in this paddock.
And also a couple of questions for them about sort of similarities between them and some other riders who have in the paddock. They are brothers, so I wanted to get to know sort of things that maybe we wouldn't have perhaps asked the brothers in this paddock, which we can get a better, a more open answer from these guys, given where they are. But because it's quite a long episode, about 40 minutes or so, I guess we should just leave you to it and see the other side.
Yeah, we will. Just one final thing we must say is if you do want to hear about Megan Fox, we do have that.
Yeah, we do, yeah. Okay, we'll see you the other side. Well, after you, Fran.
Okay then, yeah, right, we're actually starting now. Hi guys, welcome to the MotoGP podcast.
What's going on?
The first question is a super easy one, and it's literally just, how's your experience here so far? We've had slightly different ones. We've been doing an event as well with Mark, but tell us, how's it? How's the vibe in the paddock? Pretty different?
Do you want to start?
It's good, yeah, it's good. Track's massive. This is my second MotoGP I've been to. I went to Sachsenring like 4 years ago.
Really? You couldn't really have 2 more different places to experience
it. It's awesome. It's cool. We're seeing the media laps go down and stuff. Bit of practice today. It was awesome. We're excited to watch tomorrow and then Sunday, obviously. But I mean, it's cool. It's fun.
I think worth pointing out to the viewers, this is recorded on the Friday before racing and everything like that. But Jett, you came in obviously very with Mark. Obviously, we've done interviews about that. How was it? I gotta say, you didn't quite get the road racing style dialed in.
No, I did not. I did not, and I was bummed because I didn't even realize I was tipping it in, and my body was straight up and down. And I was watching Mark, and he's scraping his knee straight. I'm like, how is he scraping his knee? So I'm tipping the bike in even more, but I'm still straight up and down. So I just look even more stupid. So it took me a while, but once Mark actually explained, you got to kind of sit more and actually lean your head, I'm like, oh, that's a little more sketchy now. I was like, just to try and find the confidence to come in and lean it over. I'm like, oh, you have to trust the bike a lot. But once I kind of got more of the technique down, I got a little better. I probably still looked like a goon, but I started to have a lot more fun in my turns and that.
I bet the Aussie journalists who would have seen that, especially the old school ones, would be like, oh, an Australian sat up on a road bike, it's like Mick Doohan. Thinking about, a bit of throwback to that. But
exactly.
We did want to ask that, Australian guys, Supercross, but I see you guys are good mates with Danny Rick and Casey Stoner, does Instagram stories about you guys. But you guys, who are your racing heroes growing up?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't we didn't really have racing heroes outside of our sport, just because we were kids and all we watched was dirt bikes. So I mean, mine was Ryan Villapoto.
Now I feel so old.
Yeah, so we didn't watch like car racing, you know, football, none of that stuff really interested us. So it was just, you know, we didn't just watch like kids shows and stuff. We just played, went to school and stuff. And then when we watched sports, it'd be, you know, the American Supercross or outdoors, and then eventually, you know, the MX Grand Prix in Europe. So yeah, we didn't have many outside of our sport.
So it wasn't like an Australian kind of like all of those kind of grand heroes. You just straight to the dirt bike and not
Yeah,
really.
he had more of a hero, like his own, like one kind of hero. I didn't really have one realistically. Whoever was winning, I liked. I was that kid.
Appreciate that honesty there.
I was that kid. Whoever was winning, yeah, I'm on your team. But
Hunter over here.
yeah, I just go for winning guys, and that's it.
No, because you guys are quite young. Like obviously, I mean, Hunter, you're a bit older. I think I remember I first saw you Motocross the Nations 2017, actually, near my home in the UK. And,
Madeline Basin.
and it, like the UK fans were going wild for you there. But like, since you've sort of both come onto the Supercross scene, I guess like your profile and your fame's just gone like that.
Yeah.
You know, and you're still so young. Has it felt a bit like a whirlwind? You know, especially you're here now, you're VIPs, you're doing the event. Like,
Talking to obviously the coolest people in the
Yeah,
paddock.
obviously, right now we're talking to the most coolest people. Yeah,
You know, when you sit down with you guys, you've
made it. You somewhat
you
have
feel
made
the
it.
energy.
Yeah, you somewhat made it.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. Like even just, you know, texting friends from back home on the way here, and it's just like, hey, like, what are you up to? And oh, you know, I'm going to work. And what about you? Oh, I'm flying to Austin for MotoGP and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like we never take it for granted, and how fortunate we are with our job and how far we've come. It's crazy. So, but I mean, we don't ever feel like, you know, the fame or the you know, profile growing or whatever you want to call it, like changes us, you know, because we're loving our life. We're living the dream basically. So I mean, we take everything as a blessing and just live it to the fullest.
Yeah, we're definitely. I feel like we're definitely a lot more present, like in not thinking about much. Like we really try and stay present and enjoy the moment while it lasts. And I think that's what kind of helps us, helps our head not get too big and not fit through any
Not
doors.
too much self-googling.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
the entourage we kind of roll with, it's kind of like there's so much smack talk and
Yeah.
always like giving each other crap. So, you know, when someone's getting a little too light in their shoes, you know,
little too confident.
the group will make sure they bring him back down to ground fast. So
Does that happen often or no?
Oh yeah, it happens. It's 24/7. There's never a break with that. With smack talk, there's no break.
Well, you are Australian. To be
Yeah,
yeah,
That's
this
like
is the
part of it. You know, we had dinner with Jack last night, and it was, you know, like last time I've seen Jack was 2, maybe 3 years ago, and you know, still straight into smack talk and just banter and stuff. It's Aussies, you know, it's in our DNA. So
I guess, having as well, like you say, you're talking to people from home whose lives are so different to yours. That must help as well quite a lot to just remind you. There's like, oh, this is really cool, but
yeah, it's it's obviously been a few times that we've looked back and gone like, wow, we get to wake up every morning, get to go drive a nice car to work, get to go and do what we love, and come back to a house that's really nice. So it's like when you stop and think about it, it's like, wow, we're eating in Australia, we're having 2-minute noodles basically for dinner, like we're like struggling, like we're working for each kind of meal, and where now it's just like it's totally opposite almost. Like we're living a happy life. My brother's got a house. I just bought my house. Like it's definitely a cool feeling. We definitely we appreciate it a lot. But we've worked hard for it, and I think we've definitely earned it.
Someone asked Fabio Quartararo like last year when you first got the factory Yamaha contract, was the first thing you bought, and it was like, I bought a house. You know, I was like, oh, that's sensible. Is that kind of the same thing? Invest in the future?
Yeah, that's what when I first got. That was my championship money from this year. That was the first thing I got was the house.
See, that's it's
almost
not
like too sensible.
I mean, it was more so my mum and dad's actual saying you should get
obviously
this.
there's other things.
Yeah, there's other things I bought that have been stupid, but that was more so my mum and dad saying, okay, you have to buy that. There's nothing else. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Guess I have
Sounds
to.
like sound advice though, eh?
Yeah, it's sad advice to me, but it's probably going to help me sometime.
I love that. So Yeah, obviously, like we said, you're even looking out the window a minute ago at the media laps and being like, oh my God, because they're zooming past and they're quite a lot slower than what we'll reach in sort of like MotoGP pole laps tomorrow. It seems there's a lot of fans from motocross, supercross who love MotoGP and vice versa. What is it for you guys where it's like, oh my God?
The speed.
Is it just the pure
and we're
speed?
just like, we love the speed and we love the sound. The sound is, you know,
Unreal.
it's incredible. And like we ourselves, like personally, we love cars, we love all that kind of stuff. So like when we see it, we're just like kids, you know, like it's just all so cool and we just want to do it ourselves, you know, like we're just like, oh man, I wish I could do that. So that's, just a little kid inside of us, like honestly.
It's good because we were saying earlier, like doing what you guys do, it's not really speed. It's speed in terms
I mean,
of...
come on, we're fast.
We're trying to go fast, man.
Fast.
Yeah, exactly.
The funny thing is, the first time I realised a few years ago, it was like I followed Justin Barsha on Strava, and he like put a couple of his motos on there, and it was like top speed. It was about maximum 60 miles an hour, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's what they do in pit lane.
Yeah.
You know,
It is.
like, what?
It is.
It wasn't just pure smack
No,
talk,
but
okay?
obviously what we do, it's unbelievably quick, you know. And I've seen it in
is.
person, and you're like, Jesus.
Yeah, we don't go as fast as the road racing guys, that's for sure.
And I think if we had those motors on our bike, I would probably struggle just to leave the air.
This is the thing,
Those
right?
big motors,
like
it gets like our bikes now for some of the jumps we have is like perfect because on a 250, the really big ones, we could just hold it wide open where 450 is a little more like you have to judge it a bit better. But having those motors and the thing, you'd be like, just cracking the throttle and just over jump the thing, you'll be braking on the up ramp to try and get the jumps.
And it's funny because even if we had those, 1,000 cc engines in our bikes, I don't think we'd go a whole great deal faster because the track, like the conditions, the ruts, the bumps, all of those things, like kind of to some extent there's a limit on how fast you can go on the track to an extent, obviously, but like I bet if we rode one of the MotoGP bikes down the straight, we'd probably like half throttle, like maybe 150, and we're like, holy crap, we're going so fast. We're like, there's more, like go further. But
it's like, oh, you used 20% throttle. What?
Man, and that was just you on the little mini bike the other day.
I was trying to see how fast it was going. Like I got to like on one of the times, like how fast? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, so I went and did like open it up wide and see how fast I could actually get it. It was like,
Do you reckon Honda is, your relative manufacturer is going to put you on like a track day on some of the bikes? Because Honda got a proper like MotoGP replica type thing, you know?
Marquez said he was like, after, I'm like, that's fun, but I feel like I'm just way too big for it. He's like, yeah, one day we'll try and get you on a big one. I'm like, oh. Okay, let me get like, because that was just a stock one, and Jose was saying there's like an even faster one of the smaller version. I'm like, let me just take some baby steps here. Don't just, you could put me on a 500 maybe for a little step, but the 1000, I don't think I could do that.
That's so funny.
Not just yet.
That's something to watch out for in future then.
Yeah. But if you go and put it in
tribulations.
my face, I probably will hop on it and ride it, but...
Maybe that can be the stupid purchase in a while.
Oh, maybe.
GP bike.
Dude, down in Florida, you just see a GP bike just down the highway.
I think we'd die.
Yeah.
I think we'd kill ourselves.
I did see the other day someone was on the V4 Panigale Ducati, which is their MotoGP kind of replica. Jack's got one, right? And he had no helmet in the middle of like coming out of Austin. I was like, that's
Florida's
pretty
the same.
It's
No
pretty
helmet.
wild.
Really? Wow,
Like,
it's pretty wild.
It's insane.
Because I was talking about because I think Jose said he's going to try and get some scent. Because I'm like, dude, if we do more of these, I need some practice so I don't look like an absolute goon when I come. So he's like, yeah, we could maybe try and send some to Florida. I'm like, yeah, it'd be sick. Like I could go from my house to my buddy's house. And it's like, well, it's probably illegal. I'm like, yeah, they ride Harleys out there with no helmet. I'm pretty sure a little bike's going to be fine if I wear a helmet. Like, good point.
I think it's Cairoli the other year actually tested the KTM as a reward, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm
I
pretty sure
think there was
it's
a
Valencia, right?
crossover,
That's cool.
actually.
Yeah.
Because the other thing we're going to say then, obviously, everyone here, or the vast majority of the riders here, will use motocross as part of their training for MotoGP.
Really?
Yeah. You obviously are not like suiting up and heading out on a track day.
No.
Which is
So-
kind of weird. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna like, what
because-
is it that they can get from your discipline that is just kind of
I
doesn't
guess
work
they
the other
don't
way?
have a MotoGP track at their disposal, I'm guessing. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong, I'm not sure, but like I see Rossi does a lot of the flat tracking
Yeah, a lot of
stuff, which
flat
I
track
guess
as
is
well.
kind of throttle to rear wheel feeling and just motorbike skills. But yeah, like,
Those very vague motorbike skills.
well, yeah, like it's you know, a MotoGP bike and a motocross bike are so different, but just simplified.
Like
It's still a
core
motorcycle,
principles,
more or
yeah.
less. You know, riding is riding. Some people say so. Yeah, but it's funny because for us, if we were to practice on a road racing bike, like it would kind of make us worse on a motorbike because like coming into a turn and leading off the thing, like we're gonna crash.
Yeah.
More or less. So. It's kind of wrong in a way for motocrossers. That's
Yeah.
probably why he was like tipping the bike in.
Yeah,
'cause you
Yeah,
never
that's
wanna
why the
lean off
first
it,
time
you know?
I'm like doing these because that's what like when we come into a turn we try to keep our spine pretty straight up and down coming in. It's more so the bike leaning. I mean, when we have like a berm, we can more so lean in.
Yeah.
But on flat, we're like we tip the bike, and that's why I was looked so
Yeah.
terrible out there. Because I know, so if I had a berm, I would have been, I would have been scraping the
Let's correct the
helmet.
vocabulary. You didn't look like a goon. You just looked old school. Because that's
Okay.
you know that's how they had to do it, right?
I felt like a goon. Don't worry, those are my words. I felt like a goon out there.
No, it's funny because I mean, in recent years as well, motocross. All the riders use motocross, and I think Jack built a supercross track in his like.
I think
garden
he
in
did,
Australia,
yeah.
he said,
I was like,
right?
why is he
Crazy
building a supercross
Mate, surely his dream has got to be to line up at A1 at some point. You know,
Maybe,
something
who
like
knows?
that.
Maybe he's not
But-
done yet. Maybe he's making
yeah.
a comeback. You never know.
But it is like with the danger factor in motocross. That's why a lot of the teams say, hey, they actually have some. I've heard stories of riders having their contracts like during the season you can't get air on a motocross bike because of the dangers and.
Which,
Oh,
of course,
really?
they all
Yeah.
listen to fully
Yeah, yeah.
every time they go.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You always have your contract clauses of
Yeah.
what you can
Yeah.
and can't do, which
We're-
we all
we're the-
abide.
we're the
We're
same, we
angels.
can't-
Of course,
We
yeah.
all abide it, and I guarantee you they do as well.
Yeah, exactly. No case of. I'll just tell them I slipped over whilst
Just slid over.
in the
Careful.
kitchen or something like that. You know?
I was like, don't
Yeah.
use that
No,
one
no,
that you
I'm not
attempted to use.
no, I'm not going to give. There's loads of examples. Like you know,
Yeah, don't worry. the
I'm not
same in
convinced
our
a couple
sport.
of recent broken bones were necessarily from bicycles. You know, that we've had in stories. But day in day out, I mean, you guys, what your training regime on the actual bikes? You have your practice bikes, which are pretty
Yeah.
similar to what you race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like every single day. I mean, how many hours a day are you riding them?
So we don't ride every day, but like
We train every day
yeah,
for
we,
sure.
we train
cycle.
every day. But riding it'll go from anywhere to 3 or 4 days a week, and then you know in the off season when we're trying to build our base, and then we'll kind of tame it down for during the season to maybe two days a week. But yeah, like physical training, like off the bike, cycling, gym, running, whatever it may be.
The non-risky ones.
Yeah, we're every day pretty much.
Yeah.
6 days a week. So,
Wow,
and then Sunday's a light recovery cycle.
goodness me.
If we get lucky, maybe a day off.
If
But
our trainers, feels
Feeling
like we've put a
happy.
good solid week in, he
Yeah.
might give us Sunday off, like completely off. So
yeah,
Do you
I'm
know?
impressed by the discipline there of like still giving that authority.
we hate him sometimes.
yeah.
What I was going to ask though as well, because we love obviously the crossovers between MotoGP and Supercross, but one huge difference is like, especially the Supercross side, opening ceremonies. Obviously, that's the main thing I sort of think about as a fan. Like when you go to
Yeah.
watch Supercross, I want to see a Supercross opening ceremony. I want to know about the difference between, because you guys noticed it on Sunday, the atmosphere builds up here, but it's quite interesting because it's quite quiet before they get out. The riders come into their box, they sit down in their chair, they're having a chat, then they put everything on and out they go. And it's only when at the end of pit lane, you hear the buzz, and then the engines burst into life that you start to be like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Whereas Supercross is the music, the flames, everything.
Yeah.
What's that like to be a part of?
It's pretty well, we haven't been a part of it yet. Like we hear it, but when they're doing that open ceremony, we're either getting ready on the line to go do our heat race, or one of us still back at the track. Kind of depends what heat race we're in, but they only do the 450, so we don't get to do it. We've tried to actually. I'm like, dude, we should get the 250s in there, but because the 450 is the like the high class, you could say, the more pro big
That's the
boys,
thing, yeah.
so they show them boys off, but. The 250s aren't cool enough yet to get the ceremony, but
Maybe
no,
next year.
from watching and seeing some videos of it, it's definitely pretty cool with all the music. Definitely gets you, like when you're on the line kind of getting ready for it, gets you kind of amped up a lot, just for all the fans. And I think it's more because it's a stadium, and especially when they're closed in, it just echoes everywhere, so it makes it seem that there's probably only half of the crowd cheering, but just that half just sounds so much louder because all the sound just bounces off the walls and the roof and everything, so it sounds a lot more louder. Where here it's like opened up. Yeah, you kind of have a bit of a tunnel that might kind of get the echo, but because it's in a stadium, I feel like the Supercross is so much louder.
Yeah, no, that is pretty cool atmosphere, isn't it? Just like
Yeah.
everything. We do kind of have it. Hopefully when we get fans back all of the time.
Yeah.
There's a few places like Buriram.
That's probably the biggest
It's
one,
an
isn't it? Yeah.
absolute wall of noise on the main straight. It's unbelievable with like the Asian fans going crazy. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool. Like, it's very unique, isn't it, to see?
Yeah.
Also, is it like culturally a little bit, like how are you guys? You're obviously both Australian.
Yeah.
You're living in the States now, as well as racing here and everything else. Do you kind of get those moments where you're like, wow, I'm very Australian? Or do you get those moments where you're like, wow, I've gone really American?
No.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, like, we don't really feel a cultural difference because America and Australia are very similar, just America's on a lot bigger scale in a lot of aspects. But yeah, not really. Like,
Okay. Because
yeah,
I
not
feel
really.
more British here than anywhere else.
Really?
And in
Yeah.
Australia. I think it's
Really?
because it's almost the same, but not quite. So
Yeah.
the little
Yeah,
differences, I'm
maybe.
like, oh
I
my
mean,
God.
the amount of times we'll go to a restaurant or somewhere, whatever, and we'll order something, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, nice accent, England, huh? Or yeah,
Oh,
you're
yeah,
British,
yeah,
and we're
okay.
like, no,
No.
try again."
See, then they ask
And then,
us if
New
we're
Zealand.
Australian.
Yeah,
Really? They get
always
so
mess
mixed
it
up
They always
sometimes.
mess it
There's
up.
some people actually pretty good and like, oh, you're Australian. Like, oh, we get surprised, but most of the
Yeah.
time it's just like, oh, you're from
Yeah.
British, eh? We're like,
Sometimes
no.
we just go, "Yeah, mate, yep."
Yeah.
just save the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Some of
feel
them
that.
go like way off. They'll be like, "Oh, I know that accent. That's an Alabama accent. I know it." And we're like, "Yeah, mate. Yeah, like whatever."
You go even more Australian.
Yeah, we're just like, "Yep, you got it, pal."
Do want to ask on that note, though, on the subject of Australians coming over to the US. I mean, for the listeners because we'll have mixed different listeners and viewers. Some of them won't know who you guys are, basically. So, I mean, how old are you both, just for their sake? You're 18, Jett. How old are you,
Yep.
Hunter?
22.
Right. I mean, you're so young, coming over, shifting everything over, not just the pond, but from like Australia to the US. What's it like to chase the dream that young, invest yourselves? Because of course you came to Europe first, in your case there,
Yeah.
and then hopping over to the US. What's it like?
Dude, we're living the dream.
Yeah.
No, but
Like,
it's in
literally,
the
it's-
initial stages.
You
as
mentioned
well.
Oh,
those
yeah,
noodles
like-
there and that hard
Yeah,
road.
yeah.
Like, you've obviously put in
Yeah,
a lot
so-
to
Yeah,
make it to...
we've sacrificed a lot, but the reward was definitely overcomes all those hard times for sure.
like
so.
it's good now and stuff, but yeah, it was a lot of years where it wasn't all good, so it was tough. We left Australia when I was just turned 16 and he was 12,
Yeah, 12.
and we were in Europe for 3 years,
Yeah.
which was really, really tough. But looking back on it, we great experiences, made great friends and family, we call it, because we're so close with them. And then on to America. The first year and a bit was really tough. Last year was really tough for myself. This year was a great year for the pair of us, We did really well in both like outdoors and indoors, the Supercross and motocross. So I think this year's kind of the first year that's kind of been, I wouldn't say smooth sailing because it's not, but just like the living aspect, like everything that comes with it was a lot better. So it's like anything in life, you have to invest to get something out of it, and we invested, and it's kind of now we're starting to see the
results.
the repercussions of everything we went through. So it's cool.
That's cool. So the other obvious thing is that you are siblings.
Yeah,
And in this paddock,
unfortunately.
Yeah.
I know, commiserations.
Of course, the older
Um,
brother said that. It's always the way.
But obviously here in the paddock as well, we have quite a few. It's kind of a little bit weird now how
Yeah,
many
it's
we have
getting weird.
in the end. And also with everyone really deserving their seats, like super competitive, like regardless of who they're kind of coming up behind or just in front of. How is it for you guys though? And especially like, how is it being the older one and then watching him come through? And is it kind of like, I mean, you don't need to get emotional about it, but are you kind of like looking at him and kind of following the footsteps from when you're younger, or how is the kind of dynamic?
Definitely, yeah. When we were younger, I was always wanting to, because just the younger brother being more competitive. I just wanted to beat him. I just wanted to be faster than him.
So you didn't even want to copy him, you just wanted to destroy him.
Yeah, I followed like when he made these like mistakes, I would make sure I tried not to do the same. And I was like, you got to think about it. All my life, I've been watching him, learning off him. So like, I've just been chasing him all my life, and now it's only eventually, like, was it last year or this year that last year that I've actually kind of been same speed or and then sometimes faster, like, and it was the best feeling. He hated it. Like when I started getting closer, he was like,
you know,
yeah,
just a guinea pig. Anything we didn't know how to do, like we'd kind of go down that path, and okay, injury or it didn't work out, you come back and then go off another one, kind of trial and error with my father and myself. And so, you know, when he come through behind, it was just all kind of like dialed in, you know. So
yeah.
And you're like, you got a bloody free ride, you cheeky git.
Yeah, I got a free ride to most things, but it's just now that I've actually kind of, it's cool because I was like always the kind of like younger brother of Hunter, but at least now we're both like kind of
separate people.
Yeah,
as well.
only separate people, which is pretty sick.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask about next. Like, you've both really managed to get individual identities. Like, we've got you both on the podcast here, and like very thankful to Jose from Alpine Stars for helping that out.
Yeah.
However,
Brand
we weren't just
shout
like, you've got to thank people.
Alpine
Later
Stars,
episode.
best brand ever.
But
Alpine Stars Inc.
But it's not as if, but we didn't want to, can we get the Lawrence brothers on? Like, you are both, you're Hunter Lawrence and Jett Lawrence.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
is that been an intentional distinction? Has that happened naturally?
Well, I think it's because we're kind of like, at the end of the day, we're brothers, but we both have two different kind of personalities, to be honest. Like, I am like 5 years younger than my actual age and maturity, and he's 20 years ahead of
The way
his
you say
age.
that's
Like,
so point blank. It's just
yeah, like it's just
like-
how it is. So it's like, and I think it comes off like with just talking or just how we act. There's this different. It ends up being totally different or opposite to. So I think that's what kind of helps us be our own person, which is sick because we're. At the end of the day, like, it's cool to be it's known as the Lawrence brothers, but realistically, you kind of want to be known as yourself, like realistically. Did you
have a point with journalists who were, or the media or fans or whatever, who were doing that, and you were like, I'm my own person now. Thank you.
No,
Really?
not because we didn't, like, when I kind of went pro, I wasn't racing Hunter at all because when we started Supercross and he was, I think you were injured first year.
I was injured at the time, yeah.
So I kind of got introduced as like, I wasn't racing Hunter. I wasn't really like, Hunter's racing with his younger brother. Like, it wasn't until like kind of outdoor where it's like the Lawrence brothers, because it's easy to say probably. But
This is the other thing, right? Sometimes it's just for simplicity
Yeah.
rather than being like, they're the same.
Whenever someone says, oh, the Lawrence Bros or something like that, it's never in a negative way or anything. It's always just it's always in a positive
quick
manner
way.
and stuff, you know, or just a simplicity thing. You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Lawrence brothers are here or whatever. Like,
Unless you two are causing trouble, and then they're like, those damn Lawrence brothers.
yeah.
One of us messes up, we probably both get dragged down.
That's very true.
When we get in trouble, it's a package thing. If I'm in trouble, I'm trying to bring him into it, so he cops it.
Yeah, to be fair, it does happen. Like, I can, you know.
Yeah.
Any
protest
examples?
That. Yeah. We don't need to go over it. It's all right. Next question.
There's too many.
There might be some authorities listening in.
Yeah.
This is not appropriate.
No.
Thank you very much. No, because we asked, because this is, you know, it's a topic which actually we've spoken about. We spoke a little bit about it with Alex Marquez on the podcast earlier in the year. Because obviously when Mark got injured last year, there were journalists at a point asking in every media debrief, Alex, how's Mark doing? And he's like, I'm still racing, guys. 2 podiums in a row. No, thank you. It must be quite difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't kind of gotten to that point where we've been frustrated with like a situation like that, which has been cool. But at the same time, I mean,
You can see why though. It's like, especially like when you're on your best, like how you see, I got 2 podiums, like I'm still racing. I mean, you kind of get pissed off. It's like, hey, he's out injured. It's my time to shine now. So it's like, I kind of get that, but we haven't, like Hunter said, we haven't been put in that situation yet where one of us is injured and they're like, so how's your brother going? It's like, no.
Because I mean, if it's said in a nice way, like, is he okay,
genuine care.
then it's nice.
Yeah,
but when
yeah.
it's constantly trying to be like, can you give me an update that no one will release? It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
no.
yeah, for sure.
But no, that's cool then. Well, I mean, you're also chill. It's like, come on, where's the drama?
Yeah.
Where are the headlines? some smack talk, anything.
We can't give his headlines, sorry.
To be fair, we never like
Yeah,
the podcast to be about headlines.
We'll
Yeah,
and
probably
stuff, you know.
say, try and give you a headline and something else will come out and
Yeah,
it'll come across really bad and then
Well,
you'll really have a headline.
No,
So
this is a clickbait-free zone
Yeah,
on
yeah.
purpose in the
Oh,
podcast. We try and just chat and
that's good.
kind of
That's
sell
good.
it as listen to this informal conversation rather than, oh my God, if we clip that out by itself, like people are going to be incensed.
That's awesome.
But tell you what, before we have got a couple of quick fire questions I want to ask you beforehand. Just want to ask, you know, the generic thing at the end of a podcast, talk about the future and things like that.
Yeah.
With you both being so young, what's the ambition? Are you guys, you know, speak to riders up and down this paddock, and you got riders who I'm like, I want to be multiple champion. You got guys who just, you know, I'm enjoying being a professional rider on the Grand Prix level. One wants to be MotoGP World Champion once and see you later. What's the situation for you guys? What's the future looking like for you both?
I mean,
We don't really have a set number, to be honest. It's just win as much as we can.
Yeah.
Win as
we
much
wanna
as we
be-
can and make as much money as we can.
Yeah.
And have fun along the way.
Yeah,
That
have
sounds
fun,
like
have fun
that's,
along the way. That's the fun part. But it's just we've came this far to get where we are now. We're not going to get one or two and be happy with it. We want as many as we can, and we want to go down in history basically for being badasses with heaps of championships, basically.
And is this just the US based, or are you thinking?
Oh,
Who knows?
There's no limit
path.
or,
Yeah.
Oh, here
or
we go
anything
then.
on
I
it,
enjoy
you know?
how quickly this escalated from
Yeah.
just as much as we can really, and it's like basically just want to dominate the world
Yeah,
for
yeah,
as long
Yeah,
as possible.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
for the pair of us, we just want to try and elevate the sport, make it bigger than what it is in the fact of sponsors as well on the business side of things. You know, we want to try and get our sport bigger, you know, bring in outside, you know, non-endemic sponsors and stuff like that for series, for ourselves, and just, you know, we think the world of our sport, and we want it to be so much bigger than what it is. 'Cause I
Yeah.
feel like it should be more mainstream than what it is, I feel like.
I've not actually heard that before from riders.
Yeah. I like that.
I mean,
Yeah, I really like
it's
that. That's super cool.
Like a little different than to like want to win. Obviously, want to win so freaking bad, but that's kind of like a side thing, which
Yeah.
you know I think would be really cool. And I think with Jett and myself, we're very marketable. Our agent, we've got a great crew around us. I think it's possible because I mean, not only does it benefit us, it benefits the people coming through, the generations yet to come, and our sport. You know. Just looking at MotoGP, for example, it's way bigger scale than what we do in racing and stuff, and we would love to be able to perform on a stage this size.
Yeah.
So.
It's interesting that because
Yeah.
then here we'll have the reference points that we look at of like, okay, these are the places where we need to drive progress in this
Well,
paddock.
in the US, for example, right? Like Supercross, the
literally
profile
everywhere.
motocross, so much bigger here. Everyone knows when
Yeah.
Anaheim's coming around.
Exactly.
over
Yeah,
LA,
exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure, countrywide, how many people know, MotoGP's coming to town in COTA necessarily. I know, obviously, local town, there's all the billboards and everything and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's over sort of 46 yesterday by a hotel, someone in the Rossi t-shirt.
But the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
cool thing I feel like is with you guys, because you're traveling more over the world.
Yeah.
So people who might not even know MotoGP, they just hear that, there's an event that's in my local town. So they go to it anyways to kind of like, what's this big event going on? So I think that just ends up getting more fans who get places from Austria or like in Texas here, we probably get more fans of that actually don't know, that's never been to maybe a MotoGP race, but because it's in their town, it's like, let's check it out,
Yeah.
why not? So
And they
I
want to
think-
avoid the music festival in town.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. We're trying to guess. I actually wonder how many people are here for either the MotoGP or the music festival. Because in the city, it's like, there's
Yeah, it's
heaps
pretty
of
busy.
people.
It's
It's
a
wild.
Cool little city.
I feel like our hotel is the worst of both worlds because we're connected to the convention centre.
Oh.
So we have the very not festival or MotoGP types,
have-
and the things you overhear, you're like, what are you
We
saying?
have the LinkedIn crowd at our hotel.
jeez.
They're like, I'd love to connect and stuff like this, and and read my blog post on LinkedIn, sort of thing.
Oh,
We're like,
yeah.
oh, no.
Dear me.
I was talking to someone, and they said, they were talking, it's like, we need to connect. I'm like, what? I'm like, sorry,
DM
what?
me on Instagram.
Connect. Like,
What's this
what do you
mean?
connect?
Like connect, like the play Connect 4? Like, what's this about?
Very old school.
Yeah, I'm like, we never really talk like that.
I really struggle with that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like considering the most part of my job is writing the press for us. So you'd think that I'd be the number one coming in there with this slightly bullshitty sheen, but it genuinely physically hurts me on the inside. When people are too
Well,
much
I'm basically, I was born in this generation. I still don't know half of the
You
stuff.
don't get
like,
half, but one guy that picked us up from Alpine Stars was like, you've been going out and stuff? Because like, city's pretty cool. He's like, you've been going out? And Jet's like, oh yeah, like, you know, we were out the other night, me and Lucas and Jeremy. I'm like, Jet, riding a bird scooter around town's not going out. Like, young guys that go out means like clubbing, nightclubs and
Well,
stuff.
to be fair, you are 18.
You haven't been going out. It's like, like it just goes over his head. Like,
it's like, did you go outside?
Yeah.
He's like, I was out like hella late. Like,
oh
bird
yeah, we're having a
scooters
great time with birds
was
whipping them
crazy.
around.
Yeah.
Like, it's sick.
The scooters.
Yeah.
The scooters, not.
Yeah, oh yeah, sorry, the electric scooters.
Okay, that's
people
actually been
know.
deemed an offensive term in the UK now, isn't it?
Really?
Bird
I
It's
scooters.
been it was in
was like, excuse me?
calling women a bird in the UK.
Oh, that's right.
And a judge ruled it as offensive, and it was a great
Okay,
meme.
Ironically,
People from
I am
Great
the person
Britain
who
think
didn't
we're
know that.
riding girls around the night.
That's what I thought you meant.
Oh no, we meant actually
the
the
bird
electric
scooters.
scooters.
No, I know that's what you meant, but as in when you were making the joke about, oh yeah, we're out with birds flipping around with this and that, I was like, Jet, what are you saying?
No,
Bird scooter. Like, it's just a scooter.
yeah,
you rent.
I love that.
A good friend of ours.
I love the fact that I didn't know that.
Oh, you thought we were talking.
No, I thought you were talking about scooters. It did
You
not
guys had
enter
a
my
completely
head.
I thought it was a joke about that, but
But no, yeah, one of our good friends met the floor quite quickly with her face on one of those in Austin a couple of years ago.
Oh,
So-
they are, dude. They are
Please be-
sketchy
please be
because
cautious.
the bars are so like close together. So like anything is sketchy. Because my manager Lucas, we were riding around. He was trying to get a video of it because it was night, had all the lights, like looked sick. Trying to get a video of it and hit a pothole and got like all sketchy. He's like, yeah, I'm not. Like, luckily he didn't crash, but like, he's like, he put his phone back in his pocket. He's like, yeah, I'm not trying to film.
They're not designed for speed and handling.
For
well, they're
stunts.
they're not designed for handling, I think.
No,
We're not too bad. We don't trash them, but we're like showing like the tires are like probably flat
I mean, we
spots
jump
on
them
it.
off gutters and do all that kind of stuff to them. Like, we look after them.
Yeah, we look at. We do it. We're a good test rider. We go and break skids. There's like big screeching in the city. It's,
Have you done a burnout on one, a rolling burnout, where you like sit on the back, slightly twist it, and you
no, it's
Our
rear wheel
ones are
drive
rear-wheel.
now.
We're
It's
rear-wheel.
rear wheel drive now.
rear-wheel
Yeah.
is on.
that sucks. The
Yeah,
wheels are better.
because the first time I hopped on it, I went to go do a burnout and I got back off it and gas, and the thing was rear wheel drive. It just went yit and almost looped out. I'm like, oh.
Well,
Okay.
hey, that's been a fun finish to the main
Yeah,
conversation.
good little
so
random ending there.
no
So,
scooters.
quick fire questions, which usually end up not being super quick fire. But, you know. The first one, which 3 people, and we'll see if we get 2 separate answers here, would you like to have dinner with, dead or alive? So a little dinner party.
Dead or alive?
You go first on this.
Okay.
We usually ask this first, so in case you feel the pressure and you need more time to think, we can come back to it.
Yeah.
Entourage crew. Off the movie Entourage, the series.
Okay.
I think that's one of my favorite
Just-
TV shows. Second, probably my mate Jeremy Sewell back in Switzerland. I haven't seen him for a while.
Oh.
Who else? Dead or alive? Nikki Sixx.
Okay. You like that answer,
I mean,
don't you?
I just had a small heart attack because he's one of my all-time greats
Yeah,
in
he's-
any
he's,
situation
I got a
ever.
little man crush on him.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty rad.
I have a woman crush, to be fair, but yeah, feel it.
That's my 3.
Okay. One would be Kevin Hart. Love that guy.
We've had that already, actually, from
I
somebody.
think we had,
Yes.
who was it though?
It's a good answer, to be fair. It's a good one.
Jorge Martin,
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
think.
it,
Yeah.
Would go Megan Fox, 100%.
Also
She's here this
having
week, isn't
that
she?
now
She-
I've got a
Wait,
woman
what?
crush.
Is it, I heard,
MGK 's
isn't
here.
MGK here? They're like staying at a hotel or something. I'm
I know
pretty
they're
sure.
in the city because I know, yeah.
I know Billie
But-
Eilish
I
was here
just-
because she was next to me in the passport queue on the way here.
there you
Oh,
go.
what?
Let's go. Yeah,
Get
she,
Oh,
some-
that's insane. That's
she was
a
on our
big
flight
person.
back from 007
you
with the
go.
premiere. I was like,
Get
Billie
some.
Eilish?
Yeah,
Jeez,
nice.
that's pretty
You've
sick.
now officially told everyone you've seen.
Yeah. We even talked about it on commentary today.
Yeah, there you go. Now everyone
contact
knows.
Moto3.
I love it.
Who else? There was one more person. I had it on my mind.
Megan Fox, you like Transformers then? Got a bit of that, right?
I mean, just Megan Fox is.
Yeah, I think he's thinking of Transformers.
Yeah.
Sorry
I know Megan Fox mainly from Transformers. I can't quite remember many other ones she was in. Her.
Who was the first one? Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart.
Kevin
Megan
Hart.
Fox.
I literally had 3 of them lined up. Then Hunter said something and changed my mind. I think it was. I know, maybe The Rock or someone like that. Oh no, actually no, Adam Sandler. It was Adam Sandler.
Oh yeah, that's a
He would be a good one. He'd be
To
funny.
be fair, for someone who's 18 years old, your sort of movie references are kind of like more 28 years old, like, you know, like me.
Well,
That's not
dude,
my
I mean,
generation growing up.
Megan Fox is still probably one of the hottest ones out there in the movie
You say
industry.
that like she's just turned like 64 or something. It's like from the golden age of
I mean,
Hollywood.
well, how old is
Back
she?
in
Isn't
her
she
day.
40
She must
something?
be. Shall I literally
she's
do a
not.
live
Nah,
Google?
come on.
No.
She's
No,
not 40, she's like
30.
32 or something.
Oh,
32
okay.
maybe, yeah.
She's not 32. No way is she
Late-
32.
Well, I thought
20s.
like I'm pretty sure she's pretty old though. Like, but she's like looks great. Like she still looks like in her 20s, like early 20s, like realistically.
Yeah. That's,
I mean,
Literally doing it.
she ages very well. Like,
Well, whilst Fran sorts out the age of Megan
Jets
Fox,
on Megan Fox, everyone.
yeah,
there's a clickbait headline.
yeah. But, like when I heard they were in town, I'm like, I don't really care much about. I mean, it'd be cool to meet MGK, but Megan Fox, oh,
Yeah.
She's 35.
she was close to the 40s.
She's still young. Like,
I mean, it's still it's still young, but for me, it's
My
still.
heart slowly
She's nearly
breaking.
double your age, but that's fine.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. Okay. Second quick
Oh
fire
yeah,
question.
I've got to actually go back to that now.
From Chris H on Twitter, what era or decade would you guys like to time travel to?
We got
And
asked this
why?
question with Marquez yesterday,
Oh,
the other
really?
day.
Oh,
Yeah, his question was funny. I ain't gonna say it though. It was hilarious.
I mean,
I think
it's an explicit podcast.
I'm gonna go with the
but-
same answer.
1970.
Why?
I just think life was. I mean, life's good now, but I think life was a lot better than 1970s, 80s, 90s. It seems just like.
You'd get to
when-
live the
fun
Nikki Six
time.
dream
Yeah.
as well from the.
That's
When was the
true,
first
man.
iPhone made? Wasn't it 2000s? Was it 2000?
First iPhone?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Is
I
that where you
reckon-
want to go back?
I want to go. I want to go to the flip
True
phone.
that.
So I was gonna say like in the
Oh,
90s.
Flip phone would be like late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah.
Yeah, I
'Cause
wanna-
had a slider phone.
Oh yeah.
There you
You
go.
know, you slide
He
it up
had
and there's
the
a key.
what you had? You had the BlackBerry. Was it BlackBerry? What is it?
I didn't have a BlackBerry.
What was it called?
Couldn't afford. I had the gas station BlackBerry.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Just a
Like
phone with an
Nokia.
extra keyboard.
Yeah.
It was a Nokia.
I think I would go 90s.
Yeah.
I feel like 90s was pretty
Now I
sick.
feel really old again.
No, but not yet. 90s is pretty good.
Well, I was
though.
I
80s
was,
is
I
kinda
was
like-
born pretty
70s.
close to the 90s. I was 2003. He was born in the 90s. He
I
was
was a
99.
99.3, so I'm claiming the 90s kid. But I feel like 70s and 80s, I don't know, I just feel like there was less red tape, that you could do more things, and
Yeah.
you didn't offend people, you didn't get in trouble, it was,
Yeah.
There was no one asking you
You
to
know-
connect.
no one's
No.
asking you.
I think if you said that to someone, you'd get punched.
Yeah, I know, I just think it's a cool era. I always look at stuff there, like some of the coolest cars are from like 65 to 75 year
That's a
model,
good
like
point.
60s,
That is true.
69s, 70s. That's some of the golden era cars that were into are made. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Cool,
That's
good
it.
answer. And then you might have already mentioned this earlier by accident. What is your personal or professional motto, or what would it be? Because something you said earlier about win as much as you can and earn as much as you can was like, you could tagline that in some way.
I'll go the same. Win everything.
Win and make bank.
Yeah. Win and make
Win
bread.
and make bank.
the sounds in that phrase make it very risky if you say it quickly.
Win and make
Win and
bank.
make bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Motto like just. I mean, it's so
I mean,
dumb,
yeah.
like, YOLO, like you only live once.
That is funny.
Yeah, I think it's
I
just
mean, it's true, but
be
like-
as successful as you can. Like just try and be
You guys,
successful.
you guys don't strike me as the type who in your gym you'd have like a big catchphrase on there which you look at before you get a
No.
workout or anything.
Oh
Like, we'd
no,
be
we
the
think
kind of
that's
guys
stupid.
that,
If
like,
you had that
pay
in your
out
gym, we'll pay out on you for that.
Yeah.
And like if we seen like, oh yeah, like if someone in the gym you only live once or something,
yeah.
it would give that person crap.
The live, laugh, love signs in the house and stuff.
The
like,
most painful
it's kinda-
thing
We
that exists.
we ripped
Mum,
shreds
our
off
mum
you.
bought some like a year or so ago when we
Yeah.
were all living together still. She bought some. We never let her
Yeah.
down. 'Cause we're
Like
just
every
"Mum, are you
conversation we
kidding?"
talk, it's like, Mum, you only live once. Like,
Yeah, you're not
Live,
live
laugh, laugh.
laughing right now, Mum.
Yeah.
So she's so annoyed.
My mum doesn't like the phrase "it is what it is," so every time she says something like, and I just go, "It is what it is, Mum."
I mean, it's a
get
good
her off
phrase.
the-
I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
good ones. There's too many.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just for now.
Okay.
Laugh, laugh.
Last one then. If you guys weren't riders, the classic one, what would you be otherwise? What would you be doing?
I'd be
So-
trying to an F1, to be honest. Mainly because of the
Yeah.
money side, but F1's sick.
I think Formula 1's sick, either MotoGP or Formula 1. But like as a kid growing up, I always wanted to work at the local zoo.
Nice.
Australia Zoo.
That is the best,
Yeah, loved
most
animals.
surprising random
Loved
answer.
animals. Steve Irwin,
Yeah.
his zoo.
Australian
Australia Zoo
legend.
was literally like 3-minute car ride from where we lived. We lived around the corner, so yeah.
Wow, that's
It was a zookeeper, but now I couldn't tell you now.
Yeah,
There's probably a million things I'd want to do.
Probably back then, yeah. Magic Mike. No, I'm kidding. No, it's probably, I'd be doing some
Never
sport.
too late, mate.
Yeah.
Never too late.
You know,
I'm still at the, I probably can. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I think we were always doing like some type of sport. I would either be doing soccer. Like I really loved soccer when I was in school, so I could say soccer. Like I was that kid.
European soccer, football as we would call it.
Yeah, you guys call it football.
Like
Yeah.
normal football,
Football.
yeah?
football.
Bit of football.
Bit, come on, go
football's
play a bit of
coming
football.
home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I would go with that. But now with like, probably if I had to pick now, it'd probably be F1. I would say definitely F1.
I'm
Mainly
sure,
'cause-
I'm sure your mate Danny Rick will sort you guys out with a test drive or
Yeah.
some experience someday.
Didn't Rossi get to drive
Yeah,
an
yeah.
F1 car?
Think so, yeah, him and
he
Lewis.
drove
Yeah, because then
Ferrari
did
as well.
Lewis drive?
Oh,
I
really?
rode
Did
his
the
bike,
Ferrari
right?
too?
That would be
Yeah.
sick.
Pretty wild.
He nearly made the switch, didn't he? So back in mid 2000s, had an offer
Really?
to make the switch. Yeah.
And
Really?
was offensively quick as well.
Yeah. Oh, mate,
Wow.
Yeah, Ferrari put the 46 stickers on. He span it in Valencia actually. Yeah. So
Oh, I
could've
didn't know
done it.
that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty cool. I didn't know that.
We're still too young to even know what Formula 1 is, or MotoGP, I think. Well, I know
Then-
for sure.
back then, I mean, you weren't even born 2000. but-
Oh, in
Yeah, that's
2000? Oh, I thought you said like mid.
It was around about 2006ish.
Oh, yeah, I was
I think
alive.
it was earlier, and I'm
Does he
going to
ever-
say 03, 04.
Does he ever have regret?
Apparently no.
Don't
You read the
think so,
interviews.
yeah.
Like, I mean, we don't speak to him personally. It's not. I'm just like, ciao, Valet, how are you?
Yeah.
You got any regret, mate? On your career denial back in
Yeah.
2001?
But no, I think he's because he's been asked a lot more lately, isn't he, with the
Yeah.
retirement thing? And his dad just gave an interview, and he said, no, like I'm happy with. I've made the decision. I love motorbikes. I love
Yeah,
motorcycle
fair play,
racing. I'm
fair
happy with what I do.
I mean, he's going to get to do some car racing now, I think. Everyone's expecting a lot of,
Yeah.
like, endurance kind of stuff. And
Yeah, that's why I just thought of it, because I know he's going into car racing. I wasn't sure if, there was that little one
yeah,
thing.
it's an interesting one. But yeah, I mean,
He's still got world titles after he.
I was
could
gonna
have
say, I
made the
don't
switch,
think you can race to this age if you don't truly love it more
Yeah.
than anything else.
I
in
feel
the
like, but
world.
at his age, it's
100%.
like for how like successful he is in MotoGP. If he goes to any other sport and actually like doesn't win straight away, everyone would probably bag him straight away. Like, like I feel like that's how it'd be.
Dude,
like
you know
this.
what's
But the
I
best
just
part about
remembered?
him is he wouldn't care. He'd be like,
Yeah, he's probably that guy that's like, who cares?
So
like,
back in Australia, my racing number was 46. And I loved Rossi. It's kind of like a weird story. He probably cut it out. And when I went to Saxonring, like a bunch of years ago, I remember we went up in the tower, and I was like such a Rossi fan. Like I'd already bought like a bunch of stuff from the Rossi merchandise thing. Like I had mugs, like dinner plates, like just everything. You
I like,
could
it's not
find.
even t-shirts. It's
Yeah,
like, no.
like t-shirt, like the whole lot. And I remember the first time I seen him, I swear I felt like a tear rolling down my eye. I was just like, this is what life's about. Yeah, it was
Love
great.
it.
I was starstruck. I couldn't believe it.
Great.
Couldn't believe it
Oh,
was
that's
him.
cool.
Like
So-
watch him right out of pit box and like on the thing. Couldn't believe it.
oh well,
Couldn't believe
you
it.
get to see it again this Sunday, eh?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
my reaction was a little different. Me and Marquez. When I first met him, I was excited. I was like, well, that was probably Wednesday. It's not much of a old story, but the first thing I thought when I see him, I'm like, wow, he is actually pretty small. I'm like, I knew he was short, but I didn't realize he was that tiny.
I hope you told him that.
I don't think I have, but he'll probably give me crap about something else.
Yeah, yeah.
He's pretty quick-witted.
You
so.
two chat, because obviously first time you met, you two chatted on the DMs and stuff since you've been doing all the collaboration stuff.
we talk every now and then. Like,
Yeah.
obviously getting closer to this, we spoke a little bit more, but until I didn't really message him, because I'm like, if I try and message him, there's no way he's going to respond. So I never tried. But until he actually started following me, I'm like, oh, I messaged him a few times and that stuff. But
That's sweet.
no, we're not like best BFFs. Message every day.
I think it's really sweet. All you Supercross guys and motocross guys, you don't appreciate that. Actually, by the way, every single rider in this paddock is when you walk past and like, whoa! That's the coolest thing ever.
They're the opposite thing. No.
It's good.
We're just trying not to mess up. We're just trying to walk, just look straight ahead, don't look at anyone.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of people got Lawrence Brothers branded dinner plates here as well, don't we?
Yeah, we're surprised. Like when we first walk in, we actually some people came up and gave us a few photos. You're like, you sure you mean us? Like there's.
Yeah, we're not like MotoGP.
We don't ride. No. We don't ride like GP. They're like, yeah, like Jett and Hunter. Like, oh.
Yeah, we actually know you guys. We're like,
Let's loosen up a bit. Yeah.
I don't mind if I do.
Those feet are getting a bit lighter again.
Yeah, exactly. Get a bit of peacockingness. Spread the.
You want a photo? You want a photo?
You want a photo now? Oh, come here.
Yeah.
You want me to sign that for you?
Guys, it's been really fun. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
No, thanks for having us.
I hope
It was
the
awesome.
conversation is on the audio, where it's not just too much, just like and everyone can keep up. But
Yeah.
that was great.
Have a great weekend. Enjoy.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys
Thanks
too.
for your
Have a good
time.
one.
Yeah,
Thank you.
guys too.
So, hope you enjoyed that chat, something a little bit different. It's always nice to branch out a little bit. Unfortunately, obviously, COVID-19 protocols for quite a while has sometimes meant we've not been able to talk to who we would have. But there will be some good variety, hopefully, in the MotoGP podcast going forward. Let us know what you thought. Let us know if you love Megan Fox.
Let us know if you still use the word bird in a more offensive sense.
Don't let
According
us
to
know
some judges
that.
in the air. Don't do that. Also, stop giving us grief about wearing the mask. If we're just following our protocol,
Yeah,
like
we do.
And if it really offends you, just listen. You know, it's
Yeah,
an audio
we
podcast.
try our best, obviously. We are, not as many guests as we could have had maybe up to now. We could have talked to Kevin Schwantz here, but we already did him on Skype last year.
Yeah.
So if you do want to search that out, there's a few if maybe you're newer to the show.
If you want a mask-free interview with Kevin Schwantz via Skype, then you can check that out from last year, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, 3 more episodes to come, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And thank you for joining us on this one. Hope you enjoyed that chat. Let us know comments, questions, queries, complaints forms. No. But do let us know. Use the hashtag MotoGP podcast. Anyone else you want to hear from, either now or going forward in the future. And yeah, that's it really.
That's it from Austin.
Ciao for now. We didn't use howdy at the start, which was a waste.
See you later, y'all.